This was originally going to be part of my previous video about creativity on YouTube, but I decided it was more of its own topic. In my previous video, I mentioned that you have to strike a balance between creating art that inspires you and creating art that there's an audience for. But if the art you're creating is YouTube videos, this also applies to your own personality, to yourself. And you can't just be yourself if you isn't something that people want to watch. I mean, it's true that people value authenticity, but only up until you express an opinion they dislike. This has been heavily on my mind, because as a Christian, I really appreciate it when I find out artists I listen to or watch are Christians, even if their work isn't explicitly Christian, and I always wish more content creators would be more open about their faith and bring it into their work. It's encouraging and inspiring. And if I find out after watching, 20 of their videos, I always wished I had known sooner that they hadn't been so secretive about it. I wish they felt more comfortable admitting to it, because then I wouldn't feel so alone. And to me, it would be more in line with how Christ calls us to be about sharing the light of the gospel anyway. And so I feel like I ought to set an example myself, but I don't want to be preachy either, This is supposed to be an art channel. I don't want people to feel like they're getting a Sunday sermon every time they sit down to watch one of my videos. Whether you're religious or not, conservative, liberal, you can probably get what I mean. That's a very on-the-nose example. Well, now flip that script around to be about any part of your authentic self. Your depression, your sense of humor, your loss and grief, your obsessions and hobbies, your insecurities, your tastes. You can imagine, as a creator, how too much of any of those things will rub your audience the wrong way. I mean, if you're making woodworking videos, but keep breaking down crying about your breakup, or you're making a cooking video, but you never finish explaining the recipe without getting distracted rambling about your favorite movie, it's going to be obnoxious. Too much authenticity, too much you, gets in the way of the content. The art, the video, whatever it is. However, there's a whole other issue. What if you don't even know how to be authentic because you don't know who you truly are? I often define my own inauthentic behavior as acting differently than I would around my friends or family. But what if I'm constantly masking my true self around my friends and family? This dilemma is, in a nutshell, you can't be authentic on YouTube because you can never be authentic. You're always acting like a different person around different people, in different groups, and in different settings. Who's to say which one is authentically you? Could it be that when you're recording in private, to share with strangers on the internet whose opinions can't hurt you as much as your friends and family, is the only time you're free to really be yourself? Or can one never be real for a video because reality isn't lived in front of a recording camera, focused on a clear topic and story, packaged up and neatly presented in a video, with all the mess cleaned up? Reality, authenticity, seems like something that disappears as soon as you try to capture it. It's incompatible with the idea of a YouTube video. But to cut through the noise, I think what people really mean by authenticity is just showing their humanity. That's it. Can you successfully do that on YouTube? Well, much like my conclusion on creativity, I think that depends if you're a big YouTuber or a newer one. As a smaller YouTuber, people don't care about your humanity. If you aren't their friend, and if you're not famous, you're just a stranger. As soon as you are famous, everyone wants to be your friend. You can earn the right to be human over time, but ask anyone for advice about starting on YouTube, and they'll tell you that one of the most important things to keep in mind as a beginner is that people only care about the content. Nobody cares about you. Can you be authentic? Sure, but no one will care.